Some of my most favorite factions in Warhammer 40k are the fringe folk, the ones that are the counterculture, that are the exception to the rule. Today, I want to talk about the Bloodaxes, because they are very much an exception to the rule. They are the most un-orky orcs there are, but I like that. I like a little bit of difference. I like their sneaky attitude. You know, I love a good wog, and I love the boys, and I love absolutely them being dumb as bricks. But there's something terrifying about these big orcs that are suddenly tactical. Not necessarily the best at tactics, and yeah, they do use them and copy, the Imperium of Man with flanks and other maneuvers. Sometimes they use different maneuvers that don't make sense, like using hammer and anvil as infantry against armor. So they're still orky. They're just un-orky according to other orcs. But yeah, I mean, there's something about orc mercenaries that use real tactics and are sneaky or cool to me. It's honestly outright terrifying. The unit they're known for the most are the commandos. They're outright terrifying. If you had an absolutely giant, several 100-pound hulking mass of green show up out of nowhere holding a knife the size of your freaking torso, yeah, you'd piss yourself. Though, granted, the Bloodaxes, I don't even think you get that chance. Sometimes you only know if they're there because of a signal fire, a puff of smoke, or a radio clicking cutting out too fast. All right? They are that scary. Another unit that the Bloodaxes are known for is the Storm Boys. Now, imagine you are air superiority. You are in your nice cozy plane, far away from all the little greenskins, blowing them up. And suddenly, out of the corner of your eye, you see one waving at you, strapped to a freaking rocket, and now it's approaching you at very fast velocities, by the way, and his only goal is to give you a new orifice, preferably through your head. Now, the Storm Boys are cool because they are a group, they are the moody teenagers of orcs, okay? They look at orc society being just wah and fucking beating everybody up and being these thugs, basically, and having a good time, and they're like, nah, we want to rebel. They're very moody teenagers. They want to rebel. So the Storm Boys specifically, they get into lines, they march about, they shine their boots. They are the most military of guys. It's very funny. They copy the Cadians and the Imperium's forces a lot, and they're kind of considered what most jarheads would be. Now, the Bloodaxes use a lot of commandos and a lot of Storm Boys, but their use of tactics, again, is scary. Just by proxy of, if you are fighting a big group of orcs, and they're all running at you, piling on piles of bodies, just tons of bullets, and suddenly they stop. Now, normally you would think they're done, because usually orcs only stop when there's not enough of them, or they're all dead. Now, no. The Bloodaxes are flanking you, they're sneaking around, they might even be placing strategic bombs and blowing up your entire defense networks. You think they're dumb, but they're not. They are very cunning, okay? They have very big mork energy, alright? All orcs are cunning but brutal, and brutal but cunning, but these guys take it up a notch. And honestly, they're very effective because of that. But more so, they developed these guerrilla tactics of being sneaky and being actually tactical, because they have to now. They used to run the show, okay? They used to be the leaders of the orcs, but they were considered traitors by other orcs because they did very un-orky behaviors. Now, they were mercenaries for the Imperium of Man, and they even traded with the Imperium of Man, okay? So instead of making their own war machines and their own tankas and their own choppas and all this stuff, they traded with the Imperium of Man to get war machines, to get war material and all these things like that. And yeah, they may have dressed it up a bit, but they were trying to emulate the Imperium of Man. Simple as. They weren't trying to be orcs, they were trying to be human orcs. And that left a really bad taste in a lot of their mouths, okay? A lot of the other orcs, especially the Goths or the Evil Sons, didn't like them. Didn't like them making other orcs do unorky things, and decided, these guys gotta go. We don't like them being the biggest clan or the strongest clan, so we just want to kill them. There was an orc civil war to get rid of the Bloodaxes, and it's old lore and there's not much written about it, but it's called the Big Party, okay? And I don't know how the Big Party happened, and there's, 2 sentences of it on the fandom and the wikis, okay? But my interpretation of it is this. They basically are sitting there, we don't like these guys. They're not orky enough. I won't get rid of them, you know? And they all look around at each other and go, all right, yeah, we'll get rid of the Bloodaxes. All right, let's go. Which one are the Bloodaxes? Because if you remember, orcs, when they believe something enough, it will happen. Psychic emanations happen through the warp and happen through this energy that make it real. The Bloodaxes use camo. Now, granted, I'm not necessarily sure if it makes them invisible, because that would be the purple orcs, but camouflage makes you blend in, okay? So all these orcs are sitting around, and they don't know which one the Bloodaxes are, because they all blend in with all the boys, and suddenly you have a bunch of orcs beating the crap out of each other. And that is how I think the big party happened. Because there's a very orky way of going about it. It's which one's the enemy, I don't know, just start slugging, alright? Just a straight pub brawl fight across multiple sections of the galaxy over decades. That, in my brain, is what an orc would call a big party, alright? So, yeah, now they're all wiped out. And it's funny, because before they were being mercenaries and traitors, and now, by necessity, they have to scrounge, scavenge, and deal with the Imperium just to stay alive. Some of the lore that is written is that they get subsidies of teeth from the Imperium of Man from people who go to old orc battlegrounds and just start ripping teeth out. They are still around in the galaxy, and I'm pretty sure they cause tons of mischief. And they're just cool, okay? They're cool to me. I like them. I like the idea of a sneaky orc instead of just a big, loud orc. And that's basically it. That's what basically that's written about them. There's not a lot. They have their codex sections. A lot of the codex is very vibes-based. And a lot of the way Warhammer is written is very open-ended so that you can make your own personal interpretations, which I really enjoy. But that's all I really have to say on the Bloodaxes. I hope you enjoyed the speed paint art in the background. I'm going to be trying to do more of these. I feel like just talking about lore and doing art, so we're gonna make both happen. If you made it this far, thank you very much for listening to the ramblings of a madman, and I hope to see you in the next one.